All right, let's get into it. You know, we so often look up to the sky for answers, but what if two of our planet's biggest challenges could be solved by looking down, by looking at the very ground we stand on? Today, we're diving into an incredible new way of seeing soil, and how it might just be the key to a healthier planet.
First, let's just get a handle on the scale of the problem. That number you see, 40%. That's how much of the world's farmable land is currently degraded. That is a staggering amount, and it's a huge threat to our food supply and economies all over the world. And then, there's the other side of the coin, a more than 50% increase in the CO2 in our atmosphere since the Industrial Revolution really kicked off. And the thing is, these two problems, worn out land and way too much carbon in the air, they're not separate issues, they're totally connected. But what if the solution to one was also the solution to the other?
And that's where this really fundamental shift in thinking comes in. The whole idea behind TerraVision is to stop looking at soil as just dirt for growing stuff. We need to start seeing it for what it really is. This incredibly complex, living thing, and a hugely valuable asset for the health of our planet.
And this mission statement, it just nails it. The goal here is to empower farmers, all of them, whether you have a tiny little plot of land or you're a massive agricultural company. It's about giving them the tools to tap into the carbon market. Basically, it's turning good, sustainable farming into a real source of income. It's turning healthy soil into, as they call it, smart wealth.
So the big question is, okay, great idea, but how do you actually do that? Well, it's not magic. It's a very specific mix of technologies. And it's not just one thing, but a whole system that works together, kind of like an orchestra, which is why they call it a tech symphony. Every single part has to play in harmony to really understand what's happening in our soil on a massive scale.
What's so cool here is how these layers build on top of each other to give you the full picture. It all starts, literally, on the ground, with direct soil samples. That's your gold standard, your bedrock of truth. Then, you layer on these cost-effective on-farm scanners for more regular detailed data. Then, you zoom way out, using satellites to get that huge, big-picture view. And finally, you have the AI. That's the brain of the operation, the conductor of the symphony, taking in all this data from every layer and turning it into something you can actually use. And this, right here, this stat is the real game changer. Traditionally, measuring carbon in soil is incredibly slow and super expensive. It's been a massive barrier. But by weaving together all that tech, the satellites, the AI, TerraVision just demolishes that cost by up to 90%. That single fact is what makes it possible to do this for millions of farms instead of just a handful.
So let's peek under the hood at the AI. It's not just one algorithm. It's a team of 3 different kinds of models working together. Think of it like this. You have one model that's a master at learning from millions of real-world data points. You have another one that's like a deep science nerd, simulating the complex flow of carbon. And then you have a third one that's built for pure speed, making fast predictions over huge areas. When you combine all 3, you get the best of all worlds. It's fast, it's scientifically accurate, and it's grounded in reality.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the tech, but what does it actually do? What's the payoff? Well, the impact is threefold. It creates this amazing ripple effect that helps out farming, people, and the entire planet.
First up, for agriculture itself, the benefits are really direct and practical. I mean, this isn't just about carbon, it's about smarter farming. When farmers know exactly what's going on in their soil, they can use the perfect amount of water and fertilizer. That means bigger yields and lower costs. Plus, healthier soil is like a sponge. It holds more water, which makes farms way more resilient when droughts hit.
So beyond the crops, let's look at the impact on people. This is where that whole smart wealth idea really comes alive. By proving that they're storing carbon in their soil, farmers can sell carbon credits. It's a brand new revenue stream, and the model is designed to be farmer first, making sure that income goes right back into their pockets and helps build stronger rural communities.
And of course, the environmental payoff is just enormous. Healthy soil is a carbon sink. It literally pulls CO2 out of the atmosphere. By encouraging these better farming practices on a global scale, the world's farms could soak up a massive amount of carbon, potentially around 10% of all our annual emissions. Think about that for a second. That is a huge lever to pull in the fight against climate change.
So, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how does it actually work in the real world? This isn't just a concept, it's a full-on strategy with a business model designed to make this carbon-smart future a reality.
The entire economic engine is powered by what's called the voluntary carbon market. It sounds a little complex, but the idea is pretty simple. Companies want to offset their carbon footprint, so they buy these things called carbon credits, and they buy them from farmers who are verifiably, and that's the key word, verifiably storing carbon. The absolutely critical role TerraVision plays is providing that proof, the measurement, reporting, and verification, or MRV. That's what builds the trust that gives these credits real value.
So where does a revolution like this begin? The starting line is India.
And that's a really interesting choice, because you're talking about a country with over 140 million farms, and many of them are very small. It's the ultimate test case. If you could make the technology and the business model work for smallholders there, you could make it work pretty much anywhere.
And what I think is really smart is how the model serves everybody. It's not one size fits all. For all those small-scale farmers, the tech groups them together into larger carbon projects, giving them access to a global market they could never ever reach on their own. It gives them power in numbers. And for the big agribusinesses, they can license the whole platform to manage their land, optimize their supply chains, and hit their environmental targets. It's designed to be a win-win.
You know, as a species, we have poured so much genius into mapping the stars and understanding distant galaxies. It's incredible. But what this project does is it takes that same level of ingenuity, the satellite imagery, the advanced sensors, the powerful AI, and it points it all back down. It leaves you with this really powerful thought. If we have the technology to map the cosmos, can we finally use it to understand and to heal the very ground that sustains us all?